For months now, Coin 6 has been investigating thousands of cases of abuse and neglect at the Department of Human Services, hundreds of them within the Oregon foster care system.
That, as well as millions in misused taxpayer money among some of their licensed facilities. So our investigative reporter Eileen Park joins us now with what she's uncovered. Eileen?
Jennifer and Jeff, this is a department many people who work in the government say has one of the toughest public jobs, dealing with some of the most complicated cases involving foster children. But what I found wasn't just a mistake here and there, but widespread neglect for more than a decade.
Are children under the foster care system right now safe?
I cannot guarantee you that every single child is safe.
It's the kind of transparency we don't often hear from high-level government directors.
It keeps me up at night.
Interim Director of the Oregon Department of Human Services, Clyde Psyche, admits
It's very difficult to control all aspects of the system.
Psyche was appointed by Governor Brown a few months ago to fix the embattled department.
Startling admissions this morning from Oregon's Director of Human Services.
Allegations children were denied food.
Under the watch of the DHS, children as young as 3 years old have been repeatedly raped. Senior citizens died because of confirmed abuse from licensed facilities. And one of their biggest oversights, the Portland foster care facility called Give Us This Day.
A $15 million lawsuit.
Right.
Repeated allegations of child abuse under the facility we now know as Give Us This Day.
Right.
Widespread mismanagement of funds. What is going on?
So, that's a really hard question to answer.
I read through hundreds of DHS emails related to Give Us This Day to figure out the scope of the dysfunction. I found that for years, DHS leaders were told many employees at the foster care facility had criminal records, were operating without the proper license. But amid these serious discoveries and allegations, what was puzzling was how much time they spent making sure they didn't offend the director of the troubled foster care facility, worried about the wording of the emails they'd write to her, making sure they praised her.
We didn't get breakfast because she didn't like to wake up in the mornings.
Chelsea Matthews reached out to Coin after watching our investigations into Give Us This Day,
a foster care provider in Portland.
She said she spent a couple months under their care.
Finally, they're being exposed.
When she was in the 9th grade, she says a foster family member was especially abusive.
Me and her started arguing. I'm just like, I don't want to be here. I didn't really like her vibe. She just wasn't really welcoming.
So when she tried to leave,
comes over and starts pounding me in the face, starts punching me and just punching me all over my chest and stomach and in my face.
Matthews couldn't believe what was happening.
And they're like, we're going to deny it and you lied and you're going to get in trouble. And so I'm like, okay, I'm not going to say anything.
This is just one of many different allegations of abuse within Give Us This Day alone. We found reported cases of a child saying she had sex with a staff member, various reports of sexual abuse, verbal abuse, but in many cases there was no investigation.
I will never forget that.
For Matthews,
I ended up getting into an altercation with my mom and ended up going to juvenile jail.
She admits she's not the easiest person to deal with. She says she was diagnosed with bipolar disorder.
But you have to give somebody a chance.
This gives you an idea of the complicated challenges employees at the DHS face day in and day out.
Whenever you're dealing with people and vulnerable clients, you're going to have issues.
But we're talking about years and years of gross neglect. How come that wasn't caught?
I don't know the answer to that. We don't have a process. It happens more than accident by design. There may be some people who will no longer be working with us.
So ever since the interim director stepped in a few months ago, 2 foster care agencies have been sent letters of revoked licenses, and undoubtedly more will be coming. Back to you.